Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In my previous video, I shared 4 things to note about using CPF to buy a house. The last point on the accrued interest seems to have drawn a lot of attention among viewers. Disclaimer here, for the purpose of the illustration in my previous video, I did not do the detailed computation of the accrued interest, but instead, I simply made an estimation which have slightly overstated that figure. But it's not by a lot, probably about 10k. I hope that in the previous video, you get the point across, whereby there's this accrued interest whenever we make a withdrawal out of our OA for housing. In this video, I will be showing you the detailed calculation of how accrued interest would be calculated. Before that, I just want to share that there are a few ways where you can check for this accrued interest. The first way to find out the accrued interest is to check for the actual accumulated amount on the CPF portal directly. This is for those people who have already made withdrawal from their OA. The statement will show you the principal amount withdrawn and the corresponding accrued interest as of the date you log in. Another way is to Google for such a calculator that could give you a quick estimation. This way you will save the trouble of creating your Excel computation. But for the purpose of this video, I just want to give you an idea of how this accrued interest is calculated. So I will be sharing the manual way of calculating the accrued interest using an Excel spreadsheet. If you are interested to know the mathematics behind this calculation, continue to watch on. For the purpose of this video, I have applied this computation on my own OA usage for my house. So now let's get started. I just want to show you, what are the amounts that I've withdrawn for my house. Example, 1st June 2020, I made a 10,000 withdrawal for my house, and then 2nd July 2020, I made a 29k withdrawal for the house. So the CPF calculates the accrued interest from the date where you make such withdrawal. Let's briefly go through what are the columns I have here in my computation. First of all, I have the number of months in this column, and the next column is the first day of every month, followed by the column where I put the withdrawal or the monthly installment. Next column I will have previous month's accrued interest, and then followed by accumulated principal and accrued interest, and also one column for accrued interest. So how this mathematics works is, example, because I made a contribution on 1st June, right? So I will put my 10k here, and then under previous month's accrued interest, because this is the first time I made this withdrawal, I do not have any previous month accrued interest, so it will be nil for this row. On this date, 1st June, I have no interest, right? So I will just have 10k. So this will be calculated by taking the accumulated principal times 2.5%, which is the OA interest rate, divided by 12 because 2.5% is per annum. So divide by 12 months for a year and times 1 month. This would derive at an interest of $20.83 for the first month. So moving on to the next month, which is July. I also made a withdrawal of 29k, which is on 2nd July. But for the purpose of this illustration, I will just put it as 1st July. But for CPF, they do calculate as of the date that you make the withdrawal. Assuming I have paid the 29,800 on the first day of the month, including June's interest, my accumulated principal and accrued interest would add up to this amount at the start of the month. Then the interest will be calculated based on this new accumulated amount. In my own example, I only used 39k to pay for my house as of 10 December, so there is no other amount being withdrawn after 2nd July 2020. From this computation, you are able to see that the interest from previous month is being added on top of the principal amount, where this new cumulative total will be used to calculate the interest for the following month, so on and so forth. This is because the interest is calculated on a compounding basis. Compounding interest is very common. When you put your money in savings account, the bank also pays you interest on the compounding effect. Let me quickly show you the amount CPF has calculated for me. According to the CPF statement, it shows that the principal amount withdrawn and total accrued interest as at 10 December 2021 is $41,157.45. In my computation, the amount I derived as at 1st December is $41,255. CPF is more exact because they calculated based on the actual dates. Okay, so that is why the amount is slightly off here. For example, if you just want an estimation to know what would the accrued interest be like after 5 years, this is good enough from a financial planning point of view. And also the calculators that you could find online are usually also based on a rounded dates per se. Okay, but I hope that through this illustration, you are able to understand how accrued interest is being calculated. First of all, the accrued interest is calculated on a compounding effect and can turn out to be a lot without you even realizing. One way to reduce the accrued interest is of course to repay the amount owed. For instance, if you have extra cash and want to pay back your OA before your house is sold, the outstanding balance will reduce and your accrued interest will also be reduced. But if you are able to better utilize your cash to grow them at a rate that is more than 2.5% interest, I don't see why you should repay the amount early. I hope you learned something from this video. I will see you in my next video. Bye!